exciting news. Season 3 of Meet the Redmonds podcast launches June 2nd. Join us, Marq and Bev Redmond, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. EST on Facebook, YouTube, and OCPI TV for inspiring conversations about faith, family, and marriage. Hey, everybody, it's Bev.
And it's Marq.
And we are
The Redmonds.
Welcome to another episode of Meet the Redmonds, the podcast that you didn't know you needed, but we are here. Season 3.
All right. You just added some extra stuff into it. The podcast.
You gotta stay spicy.
The podcast you didn't know you needed.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, boy. Boy.
The relationship you didn't know you needed.
Right. Well, we are the Redmonds, and we are here, Season 3, Episode 3. Again, just a little bit about ourselves if you're just not joining us. We are Christians that have married later in life, and we're just sharing our experiences, our journeys,
our thoughts,
right.
Our musings.
Things that if you're a married couple, you probably already went through. If you're single, this could be good information for you once you do get married. But we do it with a real world relatability, a lot of laughter, right? A lot of laughter, a lot of loving, and we're just bringing it to you. So today, our episode revolves around the NBA. If you saw my last episode, which I did by myself, this is our best time of the year. Me and my wife watch a lot of basketball, and now it's NBA Finals time, and we're watching the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
Now, you may be sitting here like, what are they talking about? Are they talking about basketball or this relationship or this faith, church? What's the deal? Well, you know what? Everything that we try to do, we try to make it into a teachable moment. That includes even watching basketball. And you see we're rocking some of our favorite players. My wife has on the Reggie Miller choke sign sweatshirt.
Fellow Hoosier.
Right? And I got
Pacers.
I got Charles Barkley dunking on somebody. I was a young Charles Barkley back in the day. Maybe about an inch and a half shorter. But that was me.
That was you back in the day. So what are we talking about today?
We're talking about stages of success.
Yes.
How watching the NBA can kind of have a compare contrast with some biblical figures.
Yeah, there are a lot of lessons in leadership and success that you can learn and parallels between the two. And we've been watching closely two figures who've been getting a lot of attention as of late, and that is Jaylen Brown, Caitlyn Clark. Both are now, at least in Caitlyn's case, now a professional WNBA player, and Jaylen has been on the Celtics for a number of years now.
I want to say he was drafted in 2017, so this is year 7. So
about that long. But they've been getting a lot of attention, a lot of ink, a lot of social media time, and not always positive. So they've been striving, they've been trying to get to the top spots, but people have a lot to say. And that's one of the first things about success, that everybody has something to say about what you are doing.
So we are putting our stages of success. So that's number 1. Everybody's
got an opinion. Everybody's a critic. And you have to learn how to keep your focus beyond what people are saying. Sometimes people have some accuracy, but most of the time it's just opinion. And if you go by public opinion, you may veer off the path.
So what we're going to do, we're going to just show you a brief snippet of people that got something to say about Caitlyn. And people, the talking heads, social media, sports commentators that have something to say about Jaylen Brown. And then we'll be back, we'll comment on it, and we'll show you how it relates to biblical figures. We'll be right back.
She's just not built for the physicality of this league. And she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality. So there's a lot of learning curve, like Diana said. And when she gets it, she has elite skills that are going to really help her.
Yeah,
But she needs to be on a better. She needs to be on a better team, and she needs to be more experienced, and that will come. But for these ridiculous fans who had her slotted as the next Diana, now they're out of their mind.
We're back. So who you want to talk about first, Caitlyn?
Yeah, she's new.
Okay. So I'll pass it off to you.
Well, if you have been anywhere around the earth in these last couple of years, you've seen a lot of Caitlyn Clark. I knew she had hit fame when I went through Walgreens and there was one of those life memorabilia books, that coffee table book that had her on the front. And at the time, she was playing in Iowa and was having wild success. People were comparing her to Steph Curry, saying that she was taking the college scene by storm. She was the next coming for the WNBA. But also people had something in reverse or on the opposite side to say about her. Some on racial lines, a lot of things. You saw the conflict between her and Angel Reese. And now that she's gone to the Indiana Pacers, and that makes a lot of people happy, they think she should be achieving at greater levels than she is, including should have been on the Olympic team or coming up for the Olympic team in Paris.
Some of the comments that you heard, she was too slow, she's not physical, she's not strong, she's on the wrong team, her skill set doesn't translate to the WNBA. So just a lot of people had a lot of things to say.
Respect for the older heads within the WNBA, all the attention that she was receiving, including going one in the draft. So a lot of mixed messages. And if you're Caitlyn and you paid attention to that or paying attention to a lot of that, you could be really, really confused. So one of the lessons that I took, again, everyone does have an opinion, but another lesson that there are stages and levels to success. Because Caitlyn had success or had reached a level of acumen, a level of prowess at the collegiate level, going to the WNBA, should she be at the highest level already? What are your thoughts?
All right, so that was number 2. There are stages to success. Well, you know what? The biblical figure that I have in mind when you mention Caitlyn Clark, I think of Joseph.
Wow.
Joseph had success from the get-go.
Well, he certainly was a fan. His dad was a fan, for sure. His other brothers, I think about 12 of them.
Right. So
they didn't love it so much.
Right, but he was the golden child.
He was the baby.
Right. So he got all the love and the accolades.
Had himself a super color coat.
Right. But what happened as he progressed?
Well,
he started, his visions and everything. The king got wind of him. Oh, that was before.
That was
that was after, right?
That was after. But his vision, his dreams, he started sharing it with his peers, his brothers, and them like, who does he think he is? So they got themselves together with a conspiracy, and dumped Joseph, their brother, their daddy's child, in a pit and left him for dead.
But that wasn't the end.
Nope. That wasn't the end of the story.
So he had to kind of regroup.
Somebody rescued him.
People got wind of his vision, the king, right? And said, okay, we're going to move you from where you are and elevate you and put you on a higher level.
So even before that, Joseph was cruising along, and after he had gotten rescued, that's hard enough. He was working hard, like you said, had gotten a lot of attention, but he stumbled into some new territory in his new career, and he got set up by a woman. I'm not drawing any parallels there. We'll just skip on past that. That's another show. Got set up and ended up in jail. And that's when the dreams kicked in, and that's when the king heard about him and brought him out of jail.
So the parallels with Caitlyn are she's at this pinnacle, and now she's shifting to a new level.
Yeah.
And you got all these people trying to Bring her down.
Bring her down, put her in a pit. And look, I am no Caitlyn stan. I love me some Angel Reese and some other folks. But I do feel for Caitlyn that she is in a spot where she has to prove herself in a new place. And it's hard.
Just like Joseph. But I like what you just said. Mm-hmm. People are trying to put her in a pit. Trying to put her in the pit like they did Joseph.
Mm-hmm. So I really do feel for her. And I would just say we need to have some patience with her, and she needs to have some patience with herself. I am no question in my mind that she will find her space and she will take it up. If she doesn't get distracted by all of this, she will become an excellent player in the WNBA, just like she was at the collegiate level. And I'm sure just like she was when she was in high school, different stage, just like she was perhaps when she first picked up a ball as a young girl. They're complete stages. What I know for sure about success is it takes even more at every level that you go to. There's harder work that you put in before you really level off and you feel like you've accomplished everything.
Joseph would have never probably got tempted if he hadn't, been on the King's radar.
Yeah.
So
just new atmosphere can bring new temptations, can bring new problems, new challenges. Everybody is not going to love you at every stage, and everyone doesn't want to see you transcend or soar.
And Joseph, got done in by his brothers.
People who are closest. Everybody doesn't like your light all the time.
Teammates.
Everybody doesn't like your light.
Media.
Mm-hmm. Everybody really doesn't like your light.
Exactly.
And social media, for sure.
Right.
Everybody has something to say, and everybody has an outlet. They can post, they can record, they can share, they can like, they can say all kinds of things now. So I don't envy her having to really try to transcend and come onto a new scene in this environment. But for those of you who are listening, there are a lot of parallels to Christian life that you can overcome. You can transcend. You can move into a new stage. Mm-hmm. What about Jalen?
Now, Jalen's case is a little bit different. He drafted number 3 by the Boston Celtics, but he took a little backlash even before he got drafted. Mm-hmm. He was heavily recruited by some of the, traditional powerhouses, the Kansases, the Kentuckys, but he decided to go to Cal, which is not known as a basketball power, and focus on the academics. Mm-hmm. He made the varsity chess team. Yeah. He has maybe now an internship with NASA. He plays several instruments. He has done a series of lectures at Harvard. So he was more about the academics. He was still a heck of a basketball player, but the pundits said, well, we don't know how focused he's going to be on basketball since he has so many outside interests.
That he couldn't figure this out, right?
And once he got into the NBA and his play began to speak for himself, he was in everybody's trade rumors.
Yeah.
People, even some media people and some other people says, well, he is not marketable because he has this "I'm better than you" attitude, because he focuses on...
He's quiet.
He's quiet. He focuses on social issues. Mm-hmm. He has talked about bringing back Black Wall Street to Boston. So he focuses on other things outside of just playing the game of basketball.
Like most players do, but I don't know why that rumor caught hold for him, or that criticism that he's just too smart for the NBA. Please don't listen to that. You can be well-rounded, and we expect players to be well-rounded now. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand, but for some people, again, they don't like the light that you carry all the time, mm-hmm. and sometimes people just kind of want to hold you away from your potential.
Mm-hmm. So, did we show the tape of Jalen, or are we going to show it now? Or
Any way you want to spice
Okay,
it
well,
up.
we're gonna show a couple of snippets of Jalen getting, shade from people, and then we'll be right back and we'll show or we'll tell the comparison of Jalen Brown and some other biblical figures.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Jaylen Brown, it's not so much that he's underrated, it's that he's just not liked because of his I'm better than you attitude. He knows it. It's the same reason he is not as marketable as he should be. Gary Washburn asked Jaylen Brown about this in last night's post game.
At this point, I'm at that phase in my life where I just embrace all forms of negativity or whatever the case is, Some stuff I don't understand. It ain't meant for me to understand it, but I just know who I am and what I stand for. Sometimes makes people feel uncomfortable, and sometimes I miss out on things. I miss out on opportunities, awards, marketing deals, or whatever the case may be. And, at this point, I just embrace it. I am who I am, and I'm going to stand on my beliefs, and I'm one of those people who would die for what they believe in. So I just embrace it at this point, and I'm grateful that I'm able to be in this position, and the energy is about to shift.
And we are back. You enjoyed that clip of Jalen and seeing what people had to say about him when he was first coming into the league, and even now that he wasn't marketable. You know what?
I don't know how you can not be marketable and you just signed a $300 million contract. That's
really
all
don't
the
know.
marketing I need.
I don't. Marketing to whom? Everyone's career doesn't have to have the same trajectory. You don't have to do all of the same things. And part of the reason I believe he was getting shade is because they haven't won the national title yet. So as you're seeing this, we're headed toward the next game.
Game 5.
Game 5 back in Boston. And Boston has had several looks around the rim, if you would sort of characterize it like that. They, in my opinion, should have won something by now with this particular pairing between him and Tatum. They should have brought this home. Now they have another chance at it, and I think it's probably their cleanest shot yet, but that's still not enough for people. It's not enough for you to make it to the NBA. You have to win it all.
So who do you think that draws a correlation to as far as?
I know you've been talking about Moses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about Moses and Jalen come to?
Okay, well, you think about Moses. Moses had a level of success as one of, Pharaoh's main men in Egypt. When he underwent his conversion, he kind of...
Well, he was more than the main man.
Yeah.
He was a son.
Right,
Essentially,
right.
he was in that royal inner circle, and then he figures out his heritage.
Mm-hmm. He figures out, okay, I need to do this for my people.
I'm a Hebrew. Yes.
I need to, put things in place to liberate them from bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the Egyptians didn't like it.
No. And not all the Hebrews.
And not all the Hebrews liked it either. So,
yes, sometimes for those of us who are of color, you often get you're not black enough or brown enough for some, and you are not mainstream enough for others. So you're always caught in this bag that you're trying to get your way out of and make your way.
and that's similar to Jalen. He's getting a lot of pushback because he's getting some pushback from mainstream media because, again, he's speaking up for his people. He wants to empower the young people.
Finances. Financial literacy, yeah.
The brother did a series of lectures at Harvard. I mean...
Enviable.
Right.
A bright mind. And what we want to say to our young people parallels that you can be a Christian, you can be bright, you can be athletic, you can be musically inclined, you can have more than one interest. I will say this, growing up in church, your situation may be a little bit different, but growing up in church, education wasn't always celebrated. Professional life was not always celebrated. I didn't see a lot of the people that I wanted to be unless I was in school. Now, I didn't get that in church as much. So I had to go it alone for many, many years, professionally and spiritually, trying to blend those two. And I was often treated like I was rare air or something special, when I know for sure that there are plenty of people of color, plenty of Black folks out there working, grinding. But in the profession that I chose in public relations, and specifically school public relations, I was it was just me for many, many years until I came into my latest position. And now there's several people that are like me, but it is still not simple or easy. Sometimes you may not see all of the patterns of success or all of what you want to be. And so to Mr. Jaylen Brown, I would say thank you, because you are showing that you can have more than one level of interest and still be successful in your given path, or have multiple given paths.
Well, what was the person on Fox that told LeBron James to just shut up and dribble? Well, we're not going to even give any energy to her, because I know her name now, but yeah, she told LeBron James to shut up and dribble because he had an opinion.
And that really, even though this is not that exact same statement, but it's the same sentiment. You're too smart, hush, just dribble your ball. That is not what we want to share with our young people. And to your parallel with Moses, certainly very bright. There are other biblical characters. Saul, one of the highest, I believe, of the Pharisees, one of the highest in his group. And he was out persecuting Christians, had a conversion, and then became one of the most prolific writers and apostles that we know in Christendom today, and has brought his teachings, his writings, his leadership brought thousands of people to Christ, millions by this time, because now we have the printed word of the Bible. So,
but people gave Paul grief too.
You're never going to satisfy all of the camps. You're never going to satisfy all of the people. You just won't. You do have to be bold on your own. And know that promotion doesn't come east, west, from any direction other than from God. Those opportunities that you get, they come from the Lord. They come so that you can push open doors, so that you can make ways, so that you can do the same for other people.
No,
we call it pay it forward.
What Bible verse is that?
You know me, honey.
Well, what's the verse? You kind of paraphrase.
Promotion doesn't come from any direction, the east, the west, the north. I think it said south, but all of those, it doesn't come from any person or any wind or any place. God raises up one and he takes down another.
And I will put the verse on, since you don't know.
I didn't do my homework before I got on.
Hey,
Sorry.
it happens.
It does. I was slacking.
So those are just two correlations that we use with NBA and WNBA players, and how it can have a biblical twist to it.
But you can find lessons in a lot of things if you're looking for them. That God, I love my Bible, but God speaks across a lot of things, a lot of venues, including in sports.
Isn't it good to have her back? You know, last week I was on my own, and I know I did a good job.
On my own. Once again,
Who sang the song?
Michael McDonald and Patti LaBelle.
Why are you whispering it?
Because hush tones.
But I mean, it's just good to have my running buddy with me, my wife, because she can put a spin on so many different ways we can go at things. I mean, in this episode, literally, we talked about it in the car.
We did. This is really how life happens for us. Things that we see here, we should bring this to the people. These are conversations that we have constantly. You know what?
What's that?
It's also Father's Day weekend.
Oh yeah, Father's Day weekend.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Shout out to my 2 kids, Kelsey and Noel. Pick up the phone, call your father. Please don't ask me for money this weekend.
But he would give it to him. I don't need anything. Thank you. That's what you're going to say.
Yeah, I don't need anything.
And he's going to say, are you okay?
I got everything I need right here.
You have everything you need?
Yep.
Let me send you some money. Zelle.
Are you talking about the kids?
Yes.
Oh, I'm talking about me.
That's how you're going to react to them.
Okay.
You're going to put all the shine back on them and say, are you okay?
Once a father, always a father. So it is what it is. But while I got this moment and we're running out of time, this was a quick episode.
It did go quickly.
But
Can I say Happy Father's Day to my daddy?
I was going to do the whole thing, but go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go.
No, you.
Go, Beverly.
You, Marq.
Okay, well, I got this time. Shout out to my dad, who is not here with us anymore, but to one of the greatest men that I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. My father, Eugene Redmond, taught me a lot of lessons that I didn't want to hear, but I'm glad that he kind of drove it home. And I still think about you, and I'm putting those practices into place right now. So, Daddy, I love you. Over to you.
Yes, to my dad, Willie A. Smith Sr., and to my brother, Willie A. Smith Jr. Very, very proud of both of you. The lessons that I have learned over the years, my dad, in terms of leadership, in terms of courage, moving from one place to another, moving us as a family so that we could have all the experiences that we needed, taking on ministry. To my brother, the same, moving from one area of the country to another just for the opportunities for your kids, for staying the course, for doing all the things that you do on a day-to-day basis without a lot of credit and traversing in this world as Black men. Happy Father's Day. And to my father-in-law, who I did not get the chance to meet, we raise a white rose to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And got to give a shout out to my boys, L, Mac, David, P, Kevin, Marcus, all great fathers in their own right, doing their thing, raising their kids.
Your brother-in-law?
My brother-in-law, Big Calvin, I don't know.
To all the fathers out there.
Right.
And father figures who are
and
doing
fathers make a difference, a huge difference.
Amazing
Please
difference.
don't let some of these social media talking heads and these pundits and all these people that you see and hear minimize the role of fathers. They are pivotal in raising a strong man, a strong woman. Don't let anybody fool you.
Yep.
Not saying that it can't be done one way or the other, but they're very pivotal.
They're pivotal. Fathers, father figures, we appreciate you. We'll see some of them in church tomorrow. But love you all, and thank you for making Meet the Redmonds what it is. One of the most watchable podcasts out there.
And on that note, we're going to hit you with our catchphrase. It's certainly not her way.
Well, it may not be his way, but it is
the Redmond way. Peace.
Exciting news! Season 3 of Meet the Redmonds podcast launches June 2nd. Join us, Marq and Bev Redmond, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. EST on Facebook, YouTube, and OCPI TV for inspiring conversations about faith, family, and marriage.